Define what a layer is. I tried to do it with the hot dog, but maybe someone doesn't like hot dogs.
Yeah, I can give you a great example. One of my kids gave it to me. And if you can understand this right now, it really will save, I don't know what the right word would be.
Save pain.
Issues. What's that?
It will save you from pain.
Yeah, there's a good. Okay. So some of you have met my son Elijah, and you know that he has no problem, no fear of people at all. Very outgoing, very just naturally kind of funny type kid, right? And one day he came home, I think they came back from school, and I don't remember the conversation. Him and his brother and sister, they were all kind of talking real fast. And these words came out of his mouth. He said, because he's always funny, right? He's always the one that makes people laugh. And he said, Dad, I'm just the goofball. And at first I knew what he meant, and so, being funny. And so I was kind of like, yeah, you are a funny kid, And then it occurred to me like, wait a minute, layer. So here's what we mean when we say layer. Because of all the study that I've done and just years of human nature and being in the life business, I know that if Eli keeps thinking that he's through that lens of goofball, then that means he will eventually associate that with that's his personality. And so therefore he will have to be the goofball all the time because that's who he is. And so that is how a layer starts and then turns into something bad. And so each one of us have been labeled something like that, right? I was the mean guy. And so I kept thinking that, and eventually that became my personality, right? And so I thought that had to be me. But it started way, way, way back, just like my son Elijah, when somebody probably said, oh, you're just a goofball. And he started to play it out in his head, but I know where that will lead to. And I had to correct him, like, no, son. No, you're not a goofball. You're just funny. So it's as simple as that, like just one word. This is why I wish I would have studied English better. One word can change how you think about yourself, which then determines how you act, which then determines how the world sees you. So being funny and being a goofball are two radically different things. Goofballs get kicked out of school. Funny kids have tons of friends. And so whoever asks that question, it can be as simple as that. If you're quiet and somebody's labeled you as, oh, there's the shy kid, that doesn't mean you have to get to the point that you never talk because you're the shy kid, so now you're scared to talk. No. You're just what's called phlegmatic. It's a personality trait. And I can, one of the best books for, I think, every kid in middle school should read is Personality Plus for Teens, or for kids, I think it's labeled. Because almost all the things that I identified as negative, I now know they were just personality traits, and they turned into something negative because I didn't know that information.
So what you're saying, sometimes layers are labeled by somebody else, and they're really not bad layers. They're actually good characteristics that you have inside of you, but someone wrongly labeled them or put something together, as you said, wrong words. They, instead of calling goofball, you're actually pretty funny, and having that trait over life is going to get a lot more smiles out of people, but being called a goofball may end up getting you out of school. And we want you to not do that. We want you guys to understand.